So, folks.
Honestly, Sam, if I could just get this sentence out, we can talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote.
So Brianna Joy Gray, in August of 2021, had a show with Chris Hedges. Now, I covered a segment of this earlier, but this is another segment that was leaked to Twitter.com by the Queen in Yellow. And so this is a leaked segment of Chris Hedges actually disagreeing with Brianna Joy Gray. Now, it's interesting that, Brianna Joy Gray is doing these solo interviews for so long when she apparently has a co-host. That's right, folks. There's a co-host to the Bad Faith podcast. Now, where they are, I'm not sure. If you want to look this up, Bad Faith co-host, Virgil, Texas. Where is Virgil, Texas? Look that up on Google. Let me know if you find anything interesting, because I don't know where the fuck he's gone. That being said, here's Chris Hedges disagreeing with Brianna Joy Gray, and then it is all revealed. Let's watch.
Well, look, I mean, that force the vote didn't work. Why didn't it work? Because Nancy Pelosi has a lot of power, and the few people who might have gotten behind force the vote don't have any power. So within the system itself...
You said that last time, Professor Hedges, when we were on the show, and I pushed back against you a little bit. Because when you say they don't have any power, what do you mean? It feels like what you really mean is, what you're really saying is they are choosing not to fall on the sword. They are choosing their careers. They actually do very, very directly have the power to not... To prevent Nancy Pelosi from being Speaker of the House.
Notice how she's like stuttering around because she has no idea what the fuck she's talking about. So Chris Hedges lays it as it is. Now, I'm not a huge Chris Hedges fan. I've barely even known anything about him. All I know is he said a lot of cringy shit, and he might be right about a couple things, because it's not that hard to be right about a couple things. That being said, right, he's correct. They have no power to influence Nancy Pelosi. That is correct. But Brianna Joy Gray is suggesting that they fall on the sword and lose all their power, the little power that they have now, lose it all for question mark.
Right, but they are choosing not to exercise that power because they put their own career and their ability to stay in Congress above using that power.
Right. They don't have the ability to put pressure on Nancy Pelosi. And you're right. That's a good point. They could choose political suicide.
Well, here's the other thing. Look, can we talk that through a little bit, Professor Hedges? Because what does that look like? It's political suicide for them to not vote for Nancy Pelosi. What happens next? Because we talked this through a little bit on a recent episode I had with Ari Robinhoft, who was Bernie's deputy campaign manager, and I asked him the same series of questions, and he basically made the same point. And I pushed back and said, okay, well, what if AOC said that she would rather be a one-term congressperson than compromise her values. So let her be a one-term that's what she said. I didn't put that on her. Do you know what I mean? So
that's the other thing. Is is it impossible for people to change their minds? Is that that's so bizarre to have hang-ups like that on what someone said 4 years ago. Get over it. Get over it. Get over it. Seriously, this whole conspiracy theory is just mind-boggling. August! It's almost September. Folks, are we going to get to December 2021? Answer me this question. Are we going to get to December of 2021 and she is still going to be milking force to vote every single day? Now, again, I'm also milking force to vote. I'm making fun of these dumb motherfuckers, and it's free content almost every single day. They're out there posting cringe, and I get to make fun of them, and it's amazing. Again, my show is about two things. Real-world direct action and how people are affected by things. And making fun of stupid people. That's the show. I make fun of stupid people. And here we are. We've got a whole, entire posse of cringe lords posting cringe on a near daily basis. And it's incredible.
Why not say, I am going to be willing to incur the wrath of the beast, not at all minimizing what that wrath is, for the sake of exposing how opposed elected Democrats are to the interests of their constituents.
And again, let's see what that looks like. AOC falls on the sword. All of corporate media is against her. The Republican Party's against her. The Democratic Party's against her. She loses all of her power. She, like, loses her committee seats. She gets censured, whatever, right? And then she loses her seat in Congress. Then what? Well, then, the Democratic Party's been exposed! Do you actually think that AOC falling on the sword is going to make any headway and expose? This is like literally her entire political career is like, you know, like the classic, like, Ben Shapiro exposes SJW. Like, that is literally her entire career. That is her entire, like, strategy. Is how can we turn the Ben Shapiro YouTube compilation titles from 2013 into political strategy? AOC exposes the Democratic Party. Alright, you get a couple million views. Then what? Ilhan Omar destroys corporate Democrats. Rashida Tlaib reveals the corporate Democrats' true allegiances. Alright. Then what? Then what? Then what happens after that? Like, she's so in favor. Yeah, let's play the scenario out, right? But then when you, like, then she stops. Like, as in, like, alright, so she's gonna expose the Democratic Party, and then question mark. The Democratic Party's exposed. What happens? Well, it's not important what happens after that. The only thing that matters is that the Democratic Party's exposed. Now, again, I hate the Democratic Party as much as everyone else. They're garbage, folks. They're trash. Look at how Biden is handling this whole thing. And I'm not talking about Afghanistan, right? This is a disaster. The Democratic Party is a disaster. Okay? But I don't think AOC falling on the sword and maybe having like a couple 100,000 more people realize how bad the Democratic Party is going to change anything. You know what's going to change things? Direct action. It's useful to have people on the inside that are willing to listen to what we have to say while we provide outside pressure. But Brianna Jo Gray is not in favor of outside pressure. She spends all of her time talking about these small inside baseball minutia garbage and just ignores the fact that outside pressure is how anything gets done ever. And it's ridiculous and it's cringy. This whole force the vote thing is cringy. Like, these are cringe posters, folks. Like, I need you to understand that this is cringe. Like, people look at this and they go, ugh. Why would you do stuff that people look at and go, ugh? I don't know. All I know is watching this shit makes me go, ugh. And it's not good, folks. It is not good. So, your brain on force to vote, let me just tell you.
No good, really bad for you.